6 o'clock on Thursday, the 19th of December, 2019. Good evening and thank you for tuning in to the English edition of Ora News. My name is Christopher, bringing you the only update of the local Albanian news translated into English. At the end of Parliament's legislation for this year, the parliamentary opposition came up with a concrete proposal to change the electoral system. In the draft available for RTV Ora News, the MP Muslim Murizi calls for a national proportional system with open lists. This draft, which at the set of the special commissions of the electoral reform table, provides that the voter may vote for no more than 5 candidates. But the discussion of changing the system will only take place in January 2020, despite the Socialist Party so far lacking the political will to cast its vote. Otherwise, MP Haidari, according to her, believes the changing of the system is necessary for all parties to be represented. At the closed-door table, the Special Electoral Reform Commission discussed the electoral infrastructure and the changes to the complaint, but the latter should wait until September 1st, 2020. Both Jiknuri and Haidari call on the Democratic Party for cooperation again, but at the last minute, the Socialist Party, the Democratic Party pact, frightened the parliamentary minority, which seeks to condition its vote on electoral reform with the change of system. 8 prosecutors of the Special Anti-Corruption and Organized Crime Structure have officially started their duties since Thursday morning. In the presence of senior international representatives, Elida Kachkini, Enkeleda Milonai, Edvin Kondili, Behar Dibra, Arben Kraya, Claudian Braho, Ened Nakuchi, and Altin Dumani were sworn in at a solemn ceremony before the President of the Republic. Arben Kraya was elected head of the SPAK. The prosecutor in the General Prosecution Office won the 6 votes he needed from the members of the HCP to get the mandate for a 3-year term without the right to be re-elected. The Prosecutor General's office received 6 votes from the HCP members out of the 4 votes that Altin Dumani received. The third candidate, Edvin Kondili, received only the vote of the chairman of KLP, Gent Ibrahimi. After the national anthem and the reading of the decisions of the High Council and prosecution and putting their hand on the Albanian constitution, the prosecutors sworn into President Meta, "I solemnly swear that in the performance of my duty, I will always abide by the Constitution of the Republic of Albania, the laws enforced, and abide by the rules of professional ethics," sworn in the prosecutors. The serious crimes prosecution has now ceased the operation of all files considered as those of the tough guys, starting from Saimir Tahiri and Arber Cekai, that will go to the SPAC. 24 files, which are currently in trial, will pass to the Special Anti-Corruption and Organized Crime Structure, while 37 others will be transferred to district courts. The United States and the European Union immediately congratulated 8 prosecutors on the start of their duty. According to the U.S. Embassy, this marks an important step in establishing the Special Anti-Corruption and Organized Crime Structure. The United States congratulates the 8 prosecutors sworn in this morning as the first members of the Special Prosecution Office, marking a major milestone in the establishment of the Special Anti-Corruption and Organized Crime Structure. Starting today, Albania has a body of prosecutors committed to identifying, investigating, and bringing to justice corrupt current and former officials and crime bosses, individuals who in the old days have been deemed untouchable. As Albania begins a new stage in its democratic and legal development, the United States will remain a steadfast partner to support the SPAC and all those who seek to end impunity and bring justice to the Albanian people, stated the U.S. Embassy. EU Ambassador Soreka, through a status on the social network Twitter, considers this an important moment for the implementation of the justice reform. According to him, the fight against corruption and organized crime is Albania's top priority and the path to EU membership. We welcome the swearing in today of 8 SPAC prosecutors in the front of the president. They are now ready to start working, another important milestone for implementing justice reform. The fight against corruption and organized crime is a top priority for Albania on its EU accession path, said Soreka. The Democratic Party has also welcomed the start of the work of the Special Anti-Corruption and Organized Structure and supports its independent functioning. Starting immediately to punish organized crime and corruption must be done professionally, impartially, and decisively, the Democratic Party said in a Facebook post. The Democratic Party recalls that it has adopted the law establishing the SPAC and the National Bureau of Investigation and is willing to give credence and not prejudice towards any of the prosecutors within this body, despite some of their decisions in the past. It is time for prosecutors to rise to the task and meet the expectations of Albanians, citizens, to end impunity for organized crime, promoters of criminals and corrupt officials, the DP said in its response, posted on the DP Facebook page. She also thanked the U.S. for their assistance provided so far by making SPAC operational and for its willingness to continue supporting the independent functioning of the structure. The Socialist Movement for Integration is ready to discuss a return to Parliament as the Constitutional Court is set up. This was the strong decree of the Socialist Movement for Integration leader Monica Kurimaldi, who in an exclusive interview for RTV Ora News says that when the opposition has turned into a facade and there was no institution to stop the majority, staying in Parliament was only for receiving a salary. Ilir Mehta and Edi Rama continue the Constitutional Court, and let's see if I will go to the Parliament or not. In this situation, Kurimaldi harshly criticized the attitude of her husband, President Ilir Mehta, who, according to her, by failing to act, allowed the Prime Minister to destroy justice. We have different viewpoints on the Socialist Movement for Integration leadership. We have debates. Mr. Mehta is a statesman. He, like us, to be part of the institutions. But I also want to be part of the institutions, but I want to be part of non-corrupted institutions, said Kurimaldi. Monica Kurimaldi said the country has gone into a deep political and economic crisis while democracy is in danger. She also blamed the international factor for the situation. The SMI chair stated the justice reform laws were built wrong, also thanks to the internationals. At this point, it does not spare the former EU ambassador. Regarding the opposition action, Kurimaldi said that the cooperation with the Democratic Party is strong, while according to her alternative, the target for snap local and parliamentary elections will receive a strong impetus at the beginning of the year. Free elections, she said, are the oxygen for the country, which according to her is degrading into a monist system and a devastated economy. A day after the Parliament approved with 82 votes in favor of the anti-defamation package, a group of students protested outside the square at the Prime Ministry symbolically against censorship. Students dispute the attributes the law gives to the Audiovisual Media Authority and the Electronic and Postal Communications Authority of Albania over the media. Initially, the youth set some TVs on the ground with handcuffs and labels with the word "fine" written on it. Students explained for RTV Ora News the symbolism of the protests, which they see as youth resistance. Although not part of the media, students say that this law resembles the reintroduction of Article 55 at the time of the dictatorship for agitation and propaganda, and the protests will continue for many days. Although the protest was peaceful, law enforcement and the Eagle Police forces stood in front of the Prime Ministry to keep the protest under control. At the conclusion of the protest, which lasted for several minutes, the students symbolically threw broken televisions into the Prime Ministry bins. The protest also took place on Wednesday in front of the Assembly before the law's approval. The anti-defamation package caused many debates in opposition and public opinion. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening. And be sure to join us again every Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Ora News, thank you and good night.